Welcome to the bottom of the rabbit hole. Salute to all the Neologists tuning in. You are appreciated. In this video, we are going to talk about the Matrix Resurrection special features and top 10 major takeaways that we learned from the behind the scenes interviews. Of course, that means there will be spoilers. And if this is your first time down here, or you want to know everything about the Matrix universe, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on any future yellow-pilled content. The Matrix Reactions is a collection of special feature interviews from the Matrix Resurrections 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD release. Resurrecting the Matrix, Echo Opening, Deus Machina, Welcome to I.O., Morpheus Vs Neo, Neo vs Smith, Exiles Fight, Bullet Time Redux, the San Fran Chase, the San Fran Jump, Neo X Trinity, What the Matrix Is, Allies and Adversaries, I Still Know Kung Fu, and Matrix for Life. Instead of going through each one individually, I thought it would make more sense to discuss the top 10 overall takeaways by subject, since some topics come up in multiple episodes. There's no specific rank or order, so let's get right into it. Number 10, Keanu Reeves and Arch Motorcycles. The motorcycle used in the San Francisco chase scene was the KR-GT1, made by Arch Motorcycle. And for anyone who didn't know, Keanu Reeves started Arch Motorcycle with his friend Guard Hollinger. So this is yet another meta layer of the Matrix Resurrections by having Trinity own a bike in the film that was made by Keanu Reeves' motorcycle company in real life. Number 9, Trinity fanfiction. During an interview with Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss revealed that she found an old journal while moving and rediscovered that she had written a scene where the Oracle tells Trinity she will fall in love with the One. Carrie-Anne said that writing that short piece of fanfiction impacted everything she did with the character. Personally, I'd love to see this idea developed into an Animatrix or Matrix comic episode in the future. Number 8, Lana is Neo. For some Neologists, it may have been obvious during the Simulate scene when Tiffany asked Thomas Anderson if he based the main character on himself, and Keanu Reeves replies that there is a lot of himself in the main character, maybe a little too much. And if you picked up on that line, I can now assure you that you didn't overanalyze it, because Lana Wachowski admits that she thought it would be fun to weave some of herself and her own experiences into poor Thomas Anderson's character. When I watched The Matrix Resurrections, I wondered how much of that conversation about Warner was real. Smith said, quote, "And they made it clear they'll kill our contract if we don't cooperate." The real irony is that since the movie's release, Village Roadshow used very similar wording in their lawsuit against Warner, but that's a whole other complicated discussion for a whole other video. Number 7, San Fran Insured. The insurance company was completely against Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss jumping off the rooftop of a financial district skyscraper and thought the stunt was far too dangerous. Originally, they wouldn't insure the scene, and there was a lot of pushback from the studio executives until stunt coordinator Scott Rogers, who designed and built the rigging, informed them that his own daughter had already performed the same stunt 10 times herself. Scott Rogers has a daughter who is a professional stuntwoman and made it clear he wouldn't put her in harm's way before the insurance company finally signed off on the stunt, which is the perfect segue into number 6. Number 6, 8711. The 8711 Design Company is an all-purpose stunt team whose services include, but are not limited to, martial arts, fitness training, stunt training, wire work, and rigging. In this case, building a custom rig made to jump off a 43-story building. 8711 was co-created by director, stunt coordinator, and stuntman Chad Stahelski. Not only did Chad direct the John Wick series starring Keanu Reeves, but he was also Neo's stunt double in the original Matrix trilogy. Chad also played a bot named Chad in the Matrix Resurrections, making Chad the most meta character in the new sequel. The 8711 connections don't stop there either. Echo, played by actress Ellen Hallman, got to fight with Agent Jones on screen during the MODAL sequence, who was played by her real-life husband, Stephen Dunleavy, and they are both part of the 8711 stunt team. We also heard from Tiger Chen, a Wu Ping disciple who worked on all 3 Matrix films from the original trilogy as a trainer and stuntman. Tiger Chen also played an Exile in both The Matrix Reloaded and Resurrections. Tiger mentioned that his experience with the original trilogy had more preparation, planning, and longer rehearsals compared to Resurrections, which was more organic and had longer takes. There was also a shift from a wider and more open combat look to a tighter and more chaotic shot. It's safe to say that the 8711 stunt crew has always been an important part of the action inside the Matrix. Number 5. The MODAL. Writer David Mitchell described a MODAL as simply a program in a program, while writer Alexander Haman explained that a Princeton philosopher introduced the notion of modal realities. The universe is discrete in the sense that if you are in one universe, you are not aware of other universes. The modal is both a memory capsule for Thomas Anderson and a backdoor for potential communication that was not being monitored. I go into much more detail about the modal sequence in the Modal Explained video here on this channel, and I'll leave a link in the description for anyone who wants to get caught up. There are also a ton of background Easter eggs found inside the modal, like the newspaper headlines referencing Morpheus, Project Ice Cream stickers, a banner that has Trinity's name on it, and just meta signs everywhere. Number 4. The Nemesis. Its crew is a collection of misfits, but these misfits represent us, the true yellow pillars, the Neo-ologists. Bugs, Berg, and Lexi are hardcore Neo and Trinity fans. Even though Lana wrote parts of herself into Thomas Anderson, she also took the time to put us in the story too, which is a note that I completely picked up on, enjoyed, and appreciate. Now, an interesting detail I noticed in Welcome to I.O. is that the Nemesis was reconstructed by the machines. Keep in mind that Bugs mentioned the existence of multiple machine cities. Now that we know the Nemesis was refurbished by the machines, that would explain the EU origin shown on the plaque. Sabebe could even have had the ship flown in from the EU while still in good standing with the Machine City network. Number 3. Bullet Time. What makes this new version of Bullet Time unique is that many things in frame are shown at a different frame rate. A stereo camera is a type of camera with 2 or more lenses with a separate image sensor or film frame for each lens. If the image is edited so that each eye sees a different image, then the image will appear to be 3D. Shooting a range from 1 frame all the way up to 120 frames per second, 2 cameras were rolling simultaneously at different frame rates so that the exact same scene didn't have to be shot twice. And the combination allowed total control over that same take being viewed in real time or in a super slow motion. They then split screen different elements of the frame so that objects within the same shot are at different frame rates. Some things might have motion blur while others are sharply in focus within the same frame. Neo and Trinity can be shown at the background speed of 120 frames per second while the analyst is moving forward in real time. The Red Ranger was the main camera used, but the Matrix Resurrections was also the first production to use the Red Digital Komodo camera, which has its own unique and boxy design. All that technical camera talk to basically say, now I know why the sparks look so cool in the motorcycle shop scene, and I finally understand what Jessica Henwick meant when she said that she had seen camera rigs on set that she had never seen before. Number 2. Exiles. In the analyst system, it is much harder for exiles to hide, but the Merovingian hides in the cracks. David Mitchell described this space as the equivalent of the dark web for exiles. The costume designer described the exiles' clothing as techno trash, an alternative to the latex party featured in Hell Club, because in her own words, she says they live in the underground. When I heard her say that, it immediately reminded me about my own Revolutions theory, that everyone in the Merovingian's crew, including the Train Man, was at Hell Club because it was built underground by the Train Man, and those underground constructs he built protected the exiles from the system's resets. Consider it an exiles-only, end of Zion party held once every 100 years. The wording used in the Matrix Resurrection special features to describe the exile's survival only reinforced my ideas because in the Matrix Online, the Train Man retired from the Matrix wounded, but of course he made his exit using the underground subway system. That would have left the Merovingian as one of, if not the only program left, capable of navigating that system, and totally justifies the Merv's new techno trash look. Lambert Wilson said that this is what has happened to this group of people who had been stuck in the corridors and the tubes of the Matrix. Number 1. Agent Jonathan Smith. The new Smith is new code. The concept of a program getting a new shell certainly wasn't new to the franchise. In this case, a scheduling conflict with Hugo Weaving, followed by a change of direction for the character by Lana Wachowski, opened the door for Jonathan Groff to debut his first on-screen fight scene as the new Smith. And I liked the new energy that Groff brought to the character, but there was something about Smith's awakening that I couldn't quite place or figure out during the first viewing. Somewhere between the second and third viewing, I started to see the transformation more clearly and briefly tried to articulate this idea in one of the live streams. However, it wasn't until I heard David Mitchell describe Smith's reactivation in the Deus Machina interview that I finally found enough circumstantial reference information to support my interpretation. Mitchell described Smith reactivated by saying, quote, "He reverts to type. There's Neo, here's the gun, kill Neo. The factory fight scene is an extension of the Machine Civil War in the Machine City. Some programs have fallen out of favor, some programs have gone lone wolf. Smith was able to quickly round up enough of these exiles to form a makeshift Praetorian Guard." End quote. So when Smith sees the gun in the artificial sprinkler rain, yes, those triggers are visual, and yet Smith is still a program in the Matrix that should be able to see other programs in the Matrix. Modal Morpheus is still made of old code written by Neo, and the new Morpheus should also appear to the new Smith as old code. Being exposed to the old Smith code not only restored Smith to his default settings, but this confrontation also freed Morpheus of the Agent Smith split personality problems that Modal Morpheus described to Neo as, quote, "more than a little bit crazy making." Instead of going lone wolf, like the old exiled Smith does in Reloaded, this newly awakened version of Smith displays Morpheus-flavored leadership qualities by recruiting other exiles to fight by his side in Resurrections. I do not see coincidence, I see providence. I see purpose.
There are as many people who believe you saved Zion as believe you collaborated with the machines to build a bigger, better Matrix.
We know Morpheus shares that same information just before Neo takes the red pill. Even though this is the only deleted scene I've found so far, Agent Johnson, played by Daniel Bernhardt, interviewed for the special features, but his scene does not appear in the final edit of The Matrix Resurrections. You can let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to give your real-world avatar a boost by ordering the custom Resurrection code sneakers. If you appreciate this kind of yellow-pilled content, be sure to share, watch, and rewatch the Neo Matrixology original fan film Beyond the Glitch. And remember, as one realizes that one is a dream figure in another person's dream, that is self-awareness.